back. So in this video you will be learning how to write a program to find whether a entered number is an Armstrong number or not. So what is an Armstrong number? Take any number. Take any number, for example 153, right? So the number of digits in this particular number is 3. And when you find a cube of, you have to find, so when you find a cube of each digit and you have to add them, right? For example, the number of digits in this particular number is 3. So 1 cube plus second digit is 5, 5 cube and 3 cube. And finally, when you do a sum, the returned answer should be same as a number. That is 153, right? 1 cube plus 5 cube plus 3 cube is equal to 153. Clear? A number where sum of cube of each digit. This is a cube. Clear? And the sum of cube of each digit must be equal to the number itself, is Armstrong number. Clear? If it is not equal, for example 1 2 3, 1 2 3, let us find the cube. 1 power 3. Why 3? Because number of digits in 1 to 3 is 3, right? 1 cube plus 2 cube plus 3 cube, which is equals to 36. So this is not Armstrong number, right? So this is not Armstrong number. Now let us move on to the tracing of let us move on to the tracing. Now let us create a number which will store the Armstrong number. For example, 153 is the Armstrong number here, which we are using. Let me zoom it. Let me increase the size. Clear? Let us use this variable num to store the number entered from the user. Now, just like how we use a temporary variable in palindrome, similarly here also you will be using a temporary variable so that the initial value of a number would remain same and can be used in the final comparison. Clear? And next what you have is sum equals to 0. These are the variables which we are using, right? Now let us begin with the tracing. These are the initial values and let us begin with the tracing. So what I'll do, here I need few terms. For example, I have to find a cube of every digit. So what I'll do, I'll extract the last digit as usual using modulus operator and I will update the number using division operator. So that is done. How we will find a cube? I have to multiply the number by 3. So what I'll do, I will first extract the last digit and I will store it in a variable called as a digit. I'll create a variable digit and I will store the remainder in a variable called as a digit. Clear? I will store the remainder in this digit. Now, after this, I will perform the cube of this digit. I will perform the cube because it will extract 3. I will perform 3 cube. Next, 5 cube. Similarly, 1 cube. Now, after this, after taking this, I have to sum it to the next number. So what I'll do, I'll create. So I will make use of a sum variable. Sum equal to, let sum plus whatever we got it here, I have to add it. So I will add it here, right? And next, I have to update the number. That is possible via temp. Temp divided by 10, which will provide me the updated value without affecting the original number, right? Now let us start working on this. So in the first iteration, it is temp, right? So in the first iteration, digit equal to temp. What is the value of temp stored here? For 153. So 153 mod 10, which is equal to 3, right? Now what I'll do, what is 3 cube? 3 cube is 27, right? Hope this step is clear. I am taking the last digit. I am extracting the last digit here and I am finding the cube of the digit. Next what I will do, I will find the sum. Sum equal to, what is the value of sum stored initially? 0 plus digit multiplied by 3, that is 27, right? Which is equal to 27. Now I'll update this. Temp equals to 153 divided by 10, which is equals to 15, right? Now in the second iteration, digit equal to, what is the value of digit in the previous, what is the value of temp? It is 1 5, right? Mod 10, which is equals to 5, right? Now 5 cube. 5 cube is equal to 125. So the next would be sum equals to sum plus digit of cube of this. What is the value of sum from the first iteration? 27 plus digit, I mean cube of 5 is 125. I will add it, which will produce 152, right? Now, so I am adding 3 cube. First I am finding the cube. Next I am adding with the next number, next digit cube. Clear? Here instead of 0, why can't I put other number? Because whatever we are adding, that must be to 0 itself. Any other number will lead to a proper, any other number will lead to a mismatch, right? Because because the rule strictly says a cube of each the sum of cube of each digit, not sum of a digit which is equal to 1, right? So we are adding 0 initially. Now in the second iteration, sum is 152 and the value of temp is 15 divided by 10, which is equals to 1, right? Now in the third iteration, digit equals to, what is the value of temp here? 1 mod 10, which is equals to 1, right? Now 1 cube is equal to 1, right? Now sum equals to, what is the value of sum in the second iteration? It is 152. 152 plus 1, which is equals to 153. Now temp equals to 1 divided by 10, which is equals to 0. Now I will stop the iteration because temp is 0, and whenever temp becomes 0, I cannot calculate further. So in this case, I will stop it. Now what I will do? Now I will take the calculated value of sum, right? The calculated value of sum from the third iteration is 153, right? It is 153, and what is the number we had taken earlier? It is num. It is 153, right? So I will equate them both. Sum is equals to num, where the condition passes, and finally it is a Armstrong number. Clear? So this is how you have to build the logic. Clear? First you have to get to know what exactly the requirement is, then start triggering out how, I mean next start how to calculate it mathematically. Then you'll get to know how to write a logic for it. You won't get it initially in the first attempt, but once you keep on practicing, once you keep on thinking and practicing, then for sure like you will be able to solve it. Now let us move on to editor. So this is the program I have written for Armstrong number, and here this loop will stop as soon as temp becomes 0, because it cannot calculate further, and once it becomes 0, it will come out of the loop and it will check for whether a number entered is equal to the sum which we have calculated, right? So here we have performing the cube of a digit, and here we are taking the remainder or the last digit, and in temp we are storing the actual number after taking the remainder, right? And always remember, if you just change the position of digit, sum or temp, the answer would go totally wrong. Clear? So the answer would go totally wrong. So always remember whenever you are building a logic. Now let us run this. Now enter a number 153, which is a Armstrong number, right? Now similarly, let us run other Let me provide other number. For example, 143, which is again Armstrong number. So make sure the logic is always correct, and before building a programming logic, that must be a mathematical logic.